The rumors are that Diddy was running some kind of Epstein-type deal where he was filming everybody, right?
That's the rumors, yeah. I don't know that there's any proof or anything other than that.
It's kooky, and it seems like they're just leaning into it. Like, there's no course correction at all. Just leaning into the kooky.
Yeah.
Fun times.
Oh, yeah.
For comedy.
The trial of Sean Diddy Combs has exploded into one of the most gripping scandals in entertainment history, overshadowing even the most dramatic Hollywood scripts, as federal prosecutors lay bare their case against the music mogul. The charges are not just shocking, they're monumental. Diddy stands accused of running what authorities are calling a criminal enterprise, one that allegedly wove together racketeering, coercion, and human trafficking, with an iron grip over his network of employees and collaborators. But this case is no longer just about Diddy. It's about the names now being dragged into the firestorm, the celebrities whose glittering careers may soon face scrutiny under the harsh light of the courtroom. And thanks to new revelations, the scope of this scandal appears to be far wider than anyone initially imagined.
So I would imagine if you're the CIA, you're like, okay, we're looking for people who have gone through these things in their life that have curated this kind of like personality type.
Well, isn't it just like part of the gig? Like, here's a for instance. Like, your bit about Puffy.
The allegations against Diddy go beyond mere personal misconduct. They stretch into a coordinated network of illegal activity spanning years. Prosecutors claim that Diddy used his sprawling business empire, including Bad Boy Records and other ventures, as a facade for a darker purpose, a platform to facilitate coercion, intimidation, and the orchestration of criminal acts. The charges against him include racketeering under the RICO statute, a law typically reserved for organized crime syndicates. Authorities are alleging that Diddy's associates, security staff, assistants, and even collaborators were used as pawns in his schemes. And now, the fallout is beginning to ripple outward, implicating some of the biggest names in the industry.
It's a lot of people.
It's not just the music business. It's like, it's the extortion business.
Well, yeah. I mean, the rap game was crazy. That's a thing a lot of people don't realize is like, back in the day, especially like early rap game, you weren't just going to play at, what's the random theater that you would play in LA? What's like a big theater?
French Montana, one of Diddy's longtime collaborators, is under scrutiny for his involvement in projects linked to the mogul's alleged criminal enterprise. While no formal charges have been brought against the rapper, prosecutors are reportedly analyzing financial transactions tied to French Montana's appearances on Cassie's 2013 mixtape, Rockabye Baby. Witnesses have testified that artists featured on the project were never compensated, with some alleging that the funds were redirected to cover Diddy's more nefarious activities. French Montana's name is now being whispered in the same breath as Diddy's, a development that could have significant repercussions for his career. And then there's Michael B. Jordan, who has found himself entangled in this web due to his brief relationship with Cassie, Diddy's former partner and one of the central figures in the trial. While Jordan is not accused of any wrongdoing, his connection to Cassie during a tumultuous period in her life has led to speculation about his proximity to Diddy's alleged schemes. Prosecutors have noted that Diddy's control over Cassie extended to her personal relationships, with records showing that Diddy's security team kept tabs on her interactions, even when she was no longer with him. Could Jordan's name, now dragged into the public eye, become collateral damage in this sprawling investigation?
Well, the things that I experienced with him were monster-like. That stuff almost destroyed my life.
Kid Cudi's story, however, is far less ambiguous. The rapper's connection to Diddy took a chilling turn when his car was firebombed in 2012, an act prosecutors allege was orchestrated by Diddy himself. The fire, which gutted Cudi's Porsche, was reportedly carried out as retaliation for his brief relationship with Cassie. Police testimony has confirmed that the car seen leaving the scene of the crime was registered to one of Diddy's companies. While Diddy has denied involvement, the evidence has cast a dark shadow over his reputation, and the trial has brought this incident back into the spotlight, with Cudi's name now cemented in the narrative of Diddy's alleged reign of terror. Even Wiz Khalifa hasn't escaped the growing cloud of suspicion. The rapper, who collaborated with Cassie on her mixtape and appeared in her projects during her relationship with Diddy, has found his name surfacing in courtroom discussions. Testimony from a former stylist has raised questions about whether Khalifa unknowingly participated in ventures that prosecutors now claim were orchestrated to maintain Diddy's control over Cassie's career. While Khalifa has not been directly implicated, the mere mention of his name in connection with this trial could have far-reaching consequences in an industry where reputation is everything.
On both sides, right? There's the people on the right that are trying to nail the people that are on the left with this. There's people that are journalists that are trying to nail the people that were involved in this.
This is it, yeah.
And they've managed to keep that fucking list from coming out, which shows you how powerful certain people are. That should show you a lot. That should be terrifying.
The sheer scale of the allegations has left the public reeling. The charges against Diddy include not just the infamous freak-off parties, bizarre, coercive gatherings allegedly orchestrated for his personal gratification, but also financial fraud, witness tampering, and even arson. Prosecutors allege that Diddy's enterprise was built on a foundation of fear, using intimidation and violence to silence those who dared to defy him. Documents submitted to the court detail payments made to former employees, oftentimes disguised as severance or business expenses, which prosecutors claim were bribes to buy their silence.
And what a Wild King night was when him and a guest or guest would go to a hotel room or be at his home, his bedroom, and they would have intimate gatherings. I would have to go and prep that hotel room, which consisted of baby oil, Astroglide, candles, incense.
But perhaps the most damning development is the FBI's reported investigation into a wider network of individuals connected to Diddy's empire. Joe Rogan's recent claims that federal authorities are preparing to arrest multiple celebrities have sent shockwaves through Hollywood. Rogan, who has built a reputation for dissecting the underbelly of power, suggested that the list of potential targets includes names that could shake the entertainment world to its core. While Rogan has remained tight-lipped about specifics, his comments have ignited a frenzy of speculation. Who else might fall under the FBI's microscope? Could this trial be the first domino in a chain reaction that exposes an entire culture of complicity?
That's what people were saying, and maybe everybody's a conspiracy theorist now, but that's what people were saying about the Diddy situation. Like when the feds rolled up, with the Hummers and shit, they were like, it wasn't about Diddy, it was about if there were tapes of powerful people there.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure.
They were the ones that called. They're like, I need to protect myself, so go in there with all the things and rip any tapes or any evidence.
The sense of urgency surrounding this case is palpable. Every day seems to bring new revelations, new connections, and new implications for the broader entertainment industry. As the trial progresses, the names swirling around the courtroom, French Montana, Michael B. Jordan, Kid Cudi, Wiz Khalifa, and others, are no longer just bystanders in Diddy's story. They are threads in a tapestry of power, control, and deception that prosecutors are determined to unravel. The question now isn't just about Diddy's guilt or innocence. It's about how far the scandal will reach and who will be caught in its wake. Hollywood, it seems, is bracing for impact. The courtroom was on edge as the trial plunged deeper into the labyrinth of allegations against Sean Diddy Combs. But this wasn't just about one man anymore. The federal prosecutor's case had begun to unveil what they described as a sprawling network of complicity implicating not only Diddy's closest associates, but potentially some of the most prominent names in the entertainment world. As the investigation expanded, a wave of new revelations sent shockwaves through Hollywood. The focus shifted from simply proving Diddy's guilt to exposing the intricate web of connections that enabled his alleged reign of coercion, manipulation, and unchecked power. And with every passing day, new names were whispered in the hallways of the courthouse, names that could forever tarnish the golden veneer of celebrity culture.
Of coming forward, they've been afraid of what he could potentially do to them within the industry, what he could do to them professionally, maybe even personally. And so yes, it's been a dark secret they've held on to for a very, very long time.
The prosecutors introduced fresh evidence tying Diddy's activities to a broader network, one that allegedly included key figures who may have knowingly or unknowingly contributed to his schemes. Financial records, subpoenaed emails, and testimony from former employees painted an increasingly damning picture. Among those caught in the crosshairs was music executive Harve Pierre, a longtime associate of Diddy and one of the architects of Bad Boy Records. Pierre had been a fixture in Diddy's empire for decades, but now questions were being raised about his role in facilitating the alleged activities. Prosecutors grilled witnesses about Pierre's involvement in organizing events and handling contracts during the years when Diddy's alleged enterprise was at its peak. While no formal charges have been filed against Pierre, the courtroom murmurs suggested that his actions may not have been as innocuous as they seemed. And then there were the claims about Diddy's connections to the fashion world. Testimony surfaced linking Georgina Chapman, the famed designer and ex-wife of Harvey Weinstein, to Diddy's inner circle. While Chapman is not accused of any wrongdoing, the details of her professional ties to Diddy's organization raised eyebrows. A former employee of Diddy testified that Chapman's designs were often used to dress women for high-profile events orchestrated by Diddy, including some of the controversial gatherings described in Cassie's earlier testimony. Prosecutors suggested these connections were part of a broader strategy to glamorize and legitimize Diddy's influence, creating an aura of untouchability around him.
The question is he a criminal? Is he basically akin to a mob boss running several criminal enterprises? And while it's very clear to me he is a depraved, disgusting person, we have to prove that he violated the law.
As the trial progressed, the focus shifted to the financial infrastructure that prosecutors supported Diddy's alleged criminal enterprise. Evidence introduced in court revealed a complex web of shell companies and offshore accounts linked to Diddy's businesses. One of these companies, according to prosecutors, was used to funnel payments to individuals who later became key witnesses against him. Records showed large transactions labeled as consulting fees and event expenses, which prosecutors claimed were actually payoffs to silence those who might have spoken out. This revelation sent shockwaves through the courtroom as it became clear that Diddy's alleged network wasn't just about coercion, it was about a meticulous, calculated effort to protect himself at all costs. But the financial revelations didn't stop there. Prosecutors also presented evidence of a suspicious real estate network tied to Diddy's name. Properties purchased under shell companies were allegedly used as venues for private gatherings that, according to testimony, often blurred the lines between legitimate business events and the alleged exploited activities at the heart of the trial. One property, a sprawling estate in the Hollywood Hills, was described in court documents as pivotal to Diddy's operations, with witnesses claiming it was a frequent site for meetings where influential figures in the entertainment industry gathered. Prosecutors argue that these locations were not just symbols of Diddy's wealth, but tools in his alleged enterprise, carefully selected and maintained to ensure privacy and control.
Okay, so she testified, excuse me, that she was Diddy's ex-assistant. She said he raped her, assaulted her in various ways multiple times. He exacted unbelievable violence against her, threatened her, one point allegedly threatened to take her phone and use anything on the phone against her.
Fuel to the fire, new testimony revealed that Diddy's influence extended far beyond his immediate businesses. A former employee testified about the mogul's role in leveraging partnerships with major brands to keep his name untarnished, even as accusations swirled behind the scenes. The employee detailed how Diddy's team worked tirelessly to cultivate an image of success and philanthropy, often using high-profile charity events to distract from his growing list of personal controversies. Prosecutors have suggested that this carefully curated image may have not only shielded Diddy from scrutiny, but also allowed him to continue operating unchecked for years.
Everybody who tells the stories like, I saw her go upstairs and these dudes are like right on the couch.
Yeah.
And then I go in this room and these guys are it's like,
and pros. Like, apparently he was getting male gigolos to girls.
Girls.
Yeah, that was one of the rumors, like the
Male
freak off. So he would
gigolos.
hire the professional to have sex with the girls, and I think he would watch allegedly. That's what was alleged, I think.
The prosecution further suggested that Diddy's connections to other powerful figures in the entertainment world may have played a role in covering up or deflecting allegations. Court documents revealed email exchanges between Diddy's representatives and executives at major media companies, discussing strategies to suppress negative stories. These exchanges, prosecutors allege, show a deliberate effort to control the narrative surrounding Diddy and his organization. It raises the question, how many people in positions of power were complicit in enabling his alleged behavior? The implications of this revelation could ripple across the industry, casting doubt on the integrity of some of its most influential entities.
Dishonest, violent, horrible. A promiscuous swinger who lied to and cheated on multiple partners. Incredibly, that's how Sean Diddy Combs' own lawyers described the billionaire music mogul, currently facing serious trafficking charges in a New York court.
And then there's the international angle. Prosecutors revealed that Diddy's empire had dealings overseas, with allegations suggesting that some of his ventures abroad may have been used to launder money tied to his alleged criminal activities. Specific attention has been drawn to his luxury events in Europe and the Caribbean, where witnesses claim Diddy maintained a network of associates tasked with handling logistics for high-profile parties. These events, often attended by celebrities and industry elites, are now under scrutiny for their potential role in a much larger operation. The global scope of these allegations has added another layer of complexity to the case, highlighting just how far-reaching Diddy's influence may have been. Another bombshell came in the form of new testimony from Deontay Nash, a stylist who worked closely with Diddy and Cassie during the early 2010s. Nash provided detailed accounts of how Diddy allegedly used his influence to control every aspect of Cassie's career, from the music she released to the people she associated with. According to Nash, Diddy would deliberately isolate Cassie from collaborators he deemed a threat, including French Montana and Rick Ross. Nash's testimony added weight to the prosecution's argument that Diddy's alleged crimes were not spur-of-the-moment acts, but part of a calculated, long-term strategy to dominate those around him.
You think it's over?
I think it's over for him as like a figure in entertainment.
Right. But do you think
Like,
it's over as him as far
going
as
to jail?
like he gets a cell right next to R. Kelly?
I don't think so. I don't think
Really?
he gets
I
locked
think he
up.
skates.
And if that wasn't enough, the trial also unearthed new details about Diddy's interactions with other high-profile entertainers. Prosecutors introduced a series of emails and text messages that appeared to show Diddy's attempts to intimidate or manipulate other artists into aligning with his interests. One particularly damning message was allegedly sent to rapper Meek Mill, warning him to stay in line, after Mill was seen collaborating with another artist outside of Diddy's circle. While the defense dismissed these messages as typical industry banter, the prosecution argued that they reflected a pattern of behavior consistent with the charges of racketeering and coercion. Perhaps the most shocking development, however, was the revelation that Diddy's influence may have extended to law enforcement and local officials. Testimony from a former security contractor suggested that Diddy's team maintained close relationships with certain individuals in law enforcement who allegedly turned a blind eye to his activities in exchange for favors or financial benefits. This revelation, if proven true, could not only bolster the prosecution's case, but also spark a broader investigation into corruption and complicity within other institutions.
Yeah, exactly. You're just like, it's there. I mean, it's not just there.
Yes.
It's everywhere. My news feed is dominated by it.
Yes.
Fox News, CNN, everyone. There's raids at Diddy's house.
Meanwhile, the FBI's investigation continued to cast a wide net with whispers of impending indictments against other celebrities who may have been entangled in Diddy's alleged web of crime. Among the names circulating were those of artists and executives who had long collaborated with Diddy, as well as individuals who attended the infamous gatherings described in court. The anticipation of new charges has created a sense of unease within the industry as insiders speculate about who might be next to face public scrutiny. For now, the FBI remains tight-lipped, but sources close to the investigation suggest that the fallout could be unprecedented. As the trial nears its climax, the stakes couldn't be higher. The revelations so far have exposed not just the alleged misdeeds of one man, but the systemic issues that allowed him to operate unchecked for so long. The question now is not just whether Diddy will be held accountable, but whether Hollywood itself will finally confront the culture of silence and complicity that has protected the powerful for decades. We are left wondering how many more secrets will come to light and how many more lives will be changed forever. As the trial continues, one thing is clear: the world is watching and the truth is coming out, no matter how deeply it has been buried. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below and stay tuned for more breaking updates. This story is far from over.